Archetypes is mine. Archewell ex-president suing Meg for brazenly stealing a work in 2020 project. Podcast copycat. Meghan's Archewell president has her own podcast, and the lineup from 2020 looks suspiciously like the Archetypes lineup. Same vibe, same ideas, etc. Good catch. I had no idea that Diane had a podcast. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Archewell president Diane has just posted on a personal website a picture of a personal project with a specific plan idea with her own brain in 2020. Especially, it's exactly the same as the title of each of Meghan's present podcast episodes. After the article was reported in the newspapers, people immediately saw that the job title section on the Archewell website had disappeared with Diane's name. So the truth comes to light. Meghan is not the one who came up with the idea of the podcast at all, as she so often claims. And the truth is, she's stealing other people's work and putting it in her own name. Pretty interesting that this is almost exactly what Meghan is doing with the podcast. However, Meg can't get all the content of each episode from Diane, so Archewell podcast is currently experiencing a serious drop in listeners because of the quality going down. A professional podcaster speaks to The Telegraph anonymously about why Meghan's podcast is a new celebrity offering the world just doesn't need. She also speaks on celebrity podcasts generally and is quite interesting. To those people who protest, well, but didn't the term exist before, you're missing the point. The point is that Meghan has never had an original thought to date. She has no appealing qualities at all. No depth, no warmth, no humour, no intellect, no perspective, or even personality. She's just this colossal blob of a semi-human. She's like a pod person. I could honestly see her making a career for herself if she had any discernible talent. But she's a former hot chick, that's literally it. Netflix and Spotify probably gambled on ex-royals giving a fascinating insider glimpse into royal life. Instead, it's just me, because Meg is not a natural observer. An Australian Prime Minister, Whitlam or Fraser, told a funny story about the Queen, that they were having afternoon tea at the palace, and one of the corgis piddled on the carpet. The Queen completely ignored that this happened, just kept the conversation going, and that's what makes her the Queen, because any other woman would be distracted and start rushing around to take the corgi outside and sponge the carpet. She didn't even ring for a staff member, because she knew someone would come in and deal with it without her asking. I'd sign up to Meghan's content in a heartbeat if she was telling stories like that. Not that we would expect her to listen, but surely someone would have told her that there are already so many podcasts out there. She brings nothing new to the table, just Rachel from Carly, skating by on empty words, the same old stories, and riding the coattails of others she's suckered into her web, until of course, they're no longer useful. Meghan's script would have benefited from much stronger editing, and perhaps an expert co-host who knows how to steer the conversation. However, she relies too much on the celebrity of her guests, and a presumption that the public would like to know about her grudges and so-called insecurities. She also probably never listens to good advice, hence the tragic outcomes of these podcasts. Again, I'm disgusted at how Meghan wastes the opportunities thrown at her. Much better people deserve to have podcast deals or get books written.